What is happening, y'all? Cowboy here. Welcome back to another How-To Wilds guide, and today we are talking about the bringer of music, the destroyer of eardrums. This is the hunting horn. Now, the hunting horn is commonly slept on as being a support weapon, and while it does bring fantastic buffs to the team, this is unironically one of the strongest weapons in the game. It has insane utility, it puts out stun damage comparable to hammer, and to be honest, it's probably one of the most fun weapons to play because you're literally killing your enemy with sound, which is hilarious in concept, but also brutal in execution. So stick with me for a little bit here. We're going to break this one down. It sounds complicated, but it's actually very, very simple. So to start, we have a gauge in the top left. That first little part just shows a hunting horn and 3 yellow dots. That represents echo bubbles. We'll get to those in a little bit. Instead, let's look at the notes. Now, notes are as simple as A, B, and C. The Y button is going to make a white note. The B button is going to make a red note. Y and B together is going to make a yellow note. And we can see our songs up at the top. So if I wanted to put up attack up, all I would do is hit Y, B, Y. Now, songs can also be chained together, and since the most recent note I played was Y, and self-improvement is YY, 2 white notes, if I just press a single Y, now self-improvement is on deck. Let's say I wanted to add echo wave blunt in. That's white, red, red. I already have white on deck, so I can just press B twice, and now echo wave blunt is on deck. You can always have 3 songs on deck, with the exception of offset melody, which will sit and it's its own thing. Offset melody is, of course, our offset attack. You prime this up, you can hold it for a decent while, and then you let out an offset counter attack, which is like a giant baseball swing. But otherwise, songs will rotate out. So if I were to add another song in, attack up is going to disappear. Self-improvement is now at the top of the list. So when it comes to playing songs, the first time you play a song, buff is going to turn yellow. So if you look, attack up is currently yellow right now. After I get through all of these, I'm going to hit right trigger one more time. That's going to perform an encore, and it's going to put attack up to purple. And that means the buff has reached maximum state. Now, to get a buff to maximum state, you either got to play the song twice or you have to do an encore with it. If you have multiple songs on deck and you're just trying to get one, like for example, let's say I had my attack up, and then I had a bunch of self-improvements, and I'm just trying to get my attack up buff. You can see right trigger and B, I could just hit that to play just attack up, and then press Y and B to immediately do an encore and skip the other 2 songs that were on deck. It's important to know in case you're trying to get one out, but honestly, you're going to be getting so many KOs. Most of the time, you're going to be able to run through all 3 of your songs without issue. Now, buff songs are going to be dependent on the hunting horn you have, as well as the echo bubble. So taking a look at this particular hunting horn, our echo bubble gives us evasion and movement speed up. And then the songs we have are attack up, fire res, sonic waves. And then we have echo wave blunt, which is something new. Pretty much every hunting horn has self-improvement. That's just a passive buff to our horn that you're always going to want to have up. But usually if you have attack and you have self-improvement, those are going to be your go-tos. The third buff is usually something that's more situational, like in this case, fire resistance. I don't need that up all the time, but sometimes it's going to be ice resistance. Sometimes it's going to be wind resistance, or instead of sonic waves, it could be something that helps negate tremors. Sonic waves is actually pretty cool. Instead of needing sonic ammo, I can play that to knock Balahara out of the ground. And then Echo Wave Blunt is a new song that we have access to, which is just damage. When we play that, we're generating a sound wave that will deal blunt damage. And what's nice about this is in previous iterations, once you had your buffs up, you would kind of just run through. Usually the Y attack was very good. So you would do that into like a B, into the overhead bonk, and you kind of just had this like, what am I going to get the most damage out of? And it felt, I don't know, I guess a bit simple, like you just kept doing the same moves when your songs weren't up. With the introduction of Echo Waves, we now have a song we can play in the meantime that just pumps immense damage on top of having access to things like the uppercut and then the big head bonk. So most of the time now, I'm focusing my damage on Echo Waves when I'm not worried about buffing because they just deal insane amounts of damage. In terms of the offset melody is unique in that once you have it on deck, it's a 4-note song, it just stays. So right now, offset melody is stored, and until I hit right trigger and B and Y at the same time, it just stays there. It's just ready to go. We've already played those notes. It's on deck. Now there's a little bit of nuance in terms of movement. Like if I wanted to get an attack up real fast, I could go B and then hold back and Y, and that's called a hilt jab. And you see it's just a little bit faster than swinging the hunting horn all the way around. Sometimes you can also kind of sneak an extra note in. So like if I'm trying to do an echo wave blunt, I could do that and then B, B. You can see I got the extra B in. Sometimes you can fit one in during the double swing because the second B swing is a like around the world. So you can see even though that was considered one whole animation, I managed to get a second red note in during it. And another thing is when it comes to actually playing the music, where you move the left stick will dictate where things are going to go. So if I want to hit in front of me, I want to go to the right, I want to go to the left. If I just want to stay right where I'm at, I hit back. But so you even have a little bit of movement in terms of playing your music in a particular direction. Now, a couple of the new things we have access to are the echo bubble, and then, of course, our weak points. When you play echo bubble, you're going to create a little bubble that will give you a buff on the ground. And while you're doing that, you can pre-prep 3 notes for free. So if I hit echo bubble, you can see I just tapped YBB and I have an echo wave blunt on deck. So now I've put 3 echo bubbles down. And if I was to play this, it's going to be immense damage. Because that's like just boom, 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 boom. All of those are popping off at the same time. That would be an insane amount of damage going off if you get that off on the monster. So keep that in mind with the echo bubbles. Additionally, with our weak points, when we actually connect and we hit a weak point with that, you can queue up 5 notes for free. So it's an excellent opportunity to fit an offset melody in, or maybe you're trying to like double up on your echo wave blunts or whatever the case is. You get 5 notes for free on weak point hits when you're using your focus strike, and you get 3 notes for free on your echo bubble. Trying to think if there's anything else to talk about with this weapon. I think we've covered pretty much everything I wanted to. Let's see, we covered the echo bubble, we covered the songs. One last thing I guess to keep in mind is because hunting horns can have a variety of songs, if you choose to go with this weapon, always look at the songs you're going to get, because while attack up is very commonly sought after, I mean, there's horns that will have songs that will just heal you in combat. There's horns that will disrupt enemies. There's horns that will provide defensive buffs or heal over time. There are a bunch of different melodies to hunting horn. And that's honestly one of the most satisfying things about it is, like, I mean, there's horns that will straight up give you earplugs, which is wild. So always keep in mind what buffs are on the horn you're playing, and the order that you'll have to play certain notes will probably change depending on what buffs that particular horn provides. But at the end of the day, the whole like, oh, I don't know what to play, just the songs, the music, like I said, it's literally as simple as like A, B, C, and just organizing it in various orders. Very, very easy to pick up. And with the introduction of things like the echo bubble, being able to put down songs for free, and then with the echo song being able to burst eardrums with raw damage, like, this is the best hunting horn has ever been. Like, I liked it in Rise, and I know it was a little more controversial because it turned into more of like a, you could like dodge and play songs, and some people really didn't like that feel. And this feels more like traditional hunting horn, but with the echo bubbles and the echo songs, it just feels so good. So we're gonna go in, we are going to obliterate this poor Chatacabra. Another thing is you can also play songs while mounted. So you could like pre-prep up and get some songs on deck. So like I'm gonna, while I'm riding, that one's a little bit trickier to do because when you play that song, that's also your dismount. But we got attack up and self-improvement on deck already, so let's go in. We'll go visit our buddy, and we'll play him some music. It's also a timed press. So if you notice, my horn is turning red if I press the button at exactly a certain time. And that's kind of what you want to try and do with this, is there's a sweet spot to when you press the horn. There's my 5 free notes. You gonna hit me? Do you want to hit me? Oh, it was very rude. You can see those echo wave blunts are just doing work. Bam! So all I'm really doing right now is I'm just playing my echo wave blunt over and over again, getting up a fresh offset melody. I'm going to play that and get up another echo wave blunt. And now we're just going to play more echo waves. Right trigger again. Right again. He's already running for his life. And I know I probably should have done a better job of explaining what I was playing as I was doing it, but I don't know, I get in the zone with Hunting Horn. But I mean, all I was really doing there was just like YBB, YBB. When I would put out my bubble, like I said, I was getting out a free YBB while I was putting out my bubble. And that's it, man. I'm just jamming out. I'm playing, well, you can see the notes I'm playing, so you know what I'm doing. Oh, hey, did I wake your ass up? Need to get attack up. He just died to the sound. The sound pulse just killed his ass. I didn't even hit him there. That was my echo bubble killing him. Absolutely cracked as a weapon. And like I said, a lot of fun. Because I mean, you have a bunch of different buffs you're going to be able to choose from the various hunting horns. And then between the echo bubbles and the echo waves, like, dude, it's just damage on top of damage. I love hunting horn now, because you get that up and then you play it and it's just like boo 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 boo, all the reverberations. You're just literally like turning the monster's brain into mush with the song that you're playing. It's a pretty messed up thought, but yeah, that's hunting horn. You know, it seems very daunting, but it's just literally follow the buttons on the screen, play some songs, and stuff gets absolutely cooked. And you saw the stuns we were doing. I would say the stuns are pretty comparable to Hammer. Like, poor bro could barely move. It was just like, oh my god, the music. So either way, that is going to wrap things up here. Coming up, we will have Lance, Gun Lance, and both the bow guns. I am planning on getting all of them done before the beta ends. So stay tuned for those, and I'll catch y'all soon with more.